Food banks are known to give back to the community and help those in need, but the effect they have on the overall health of a local or global community is astronomical. And today, we'll be taking a close look at some of those effects in Milwaukee and how those local to Milwaukee can positively benefit from a food bank and how food banks can partake in harvesting hope. First up, we visited Ebenezer Stone Ministries and had a discussion with the CEO and director.
We're here with Michael Haas, CEO of the Ebenezer Stone Ministry. You mentioned partnering up with a couple of other organizations. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, we actually partner with several different churches. El Puente High School provides us some kids to come down and work in the pantry. We have a huge partnership with Feeding America of Eastern Wisconsin, and then also the Milwaukee Police Department.
You mentioned that El Puente sends down some students. Can you tell me a bit more about that?
Yeah, actually, so a lot of the students come down and will help out stocking the food pantry or unloading. They are pretty integral in that part. We have a great relationship with El Puente High School, and just providing a resource to all of those community, those kids, their families, the staff.
And how has these partnerships benefit your organization?
It allows us to reach out to the families. It's not our benefit. We want to make sure that we continue to be the hands and feet of Jesus Christ and serve the community. And so serving El Puente's community, and then serving, actually, Ebenezer serves the entire south side all the way down to the Illinois border.
Nice. So what is a day in the life operating this pantry?
It's tough. I wear many hats. My main job is to make sure that funding comes through. And so right now, Ebenezer is 6 figures, and we have a staff of 8, and then also maintaining the staff and making sure that they're doing what their position entails them to do. So I oversee all of it.
And speaking of staff members, what safety measures do you have in place to ensure their safety while operating the pantry?
So we have a great relationship with the Milwaukee Police Department. They are on call 24 hours a day, 7 days a week for us. A lot of our buildings are either controlled, the staff members are trained, and so we have training for active shooter, we have training for mental health, we have training for most of all the scenarios that happen. A lot of our staff are highly educated and have been in this field for years.
What's the best part about your job here?
I would say making sure that there is food on the table for the young ones, high schoolers, middle schoolers, elementary, making sure that parents don't have to make a choice in between paying a bill or feeding their family. That to me is one of the best things that Ebenezer does.
That is wonderful. Well, that's all the time we have for now. Michael, thanks for joining us, and thank you for what you do in harvesting hope for the community.
Absolutely.
After our discussion with Michael, we visited El Puente High School, which has a food bank service in the very basement of the building, to talk with the principal and co-director about how a food bank in a high school can positively influence the student body.
We're here with one of the co-directors of El Puente High School, Vinay Morrow. Vinay, how are you doing?
Hi, Shrexus. I'm doing great. It's nice to see you.
It's nice to see you too. So, Vinay, tell me a bit about your partnership with Ebenezer Stone Ministry.
So, Ebenezer Stone Ministries is a tenant in this building, just like El Puente School is. And so, in the time that I've been here, this is my 9th year here, they have always been a partner with us in this building. So they have a food pantry that they run on Wednesdays and Saturdays, and then in addition to that, there's deliveries that happen here at the school. It happens down in the basement, which can sometimes feel a little disconnected from the day-to-day within the school building, but we actually have procedures and policies that assist students and the food pantry as we kind of navigate through the week. So for example, on Tuesdays and Fridays we modify parking so that delivery trucks can come in. on Saturdays. Saturdays, the space is clear for the food pantry and the patrons. Wednesdays, we are asynchronous, and so that allows patrons to come in without the hustle and bustle of school during the school day, which is nice for students and for the patrons of Ebenezer.
That is great. You say that the students help out. How does that go? Can any student volunteer? Is
Yep.
it choice?
Yes.
Is there a certain curriculum?
The way it starts is you just initiate a conversation, or we may ask from time to time if there's a specific thing going on, but for the most part, if a student wants to participate in the food pantry, they come and talk to us in the office. From the office, we then have a conversation with Ebenezer, but also with the family. What we have to do is make sure that the student will not fall behind on the academics, because that's very important, but we also want them to have a chance to contribute and give back. So with our student support specialists and within communication with the family, that's how the volunteering gets started.
How do students benefit from the volunteering at the food pantry?
I think the biggest advantage to our students is they get to give back to their community. This is their community, El Puente's community, we're a part of it. And so when students have a chance to participate and give back, they have a sense of there's something bigger beyond them, and their contribution matters. And that's not something that they get to see necessarily every day. And so we're grateful for the opportunity for them.
Well, that's all the time we have for today. Renee, thank you for joining us, and thank you for what you're doing in the community to harvest hope.
Thank you, Shirexis. We appreciate the opportunity to talk about it.
Of course.
Next, we expanded our horizon and visited Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin to have a chat with the CEO and discuss her vision for making Feeding America a benefit to the local Milwaukee community.
So can you tell me, how important is it for you to create a positive community here at Feeding America?
One of the things that we really believe in is that it's important that the whole community supports the issue.
Yeah.
The issue of food insecurity is not about the person in need. It's really about the community coming together and wrapping around the family that's in need. We just never know when it is the time that you are on the side of being able to give, or when you need to be on the side of asking for help.
Right.
And so when the community really comes together, it's important for me to really believe that we're here for each other, because it's a situation any one of us can find ourselves in.
When you think about hiring staff here, what is one of the main things you look for in someone that wants to work here?
Food banking is actually more complicated than it seems. We have roles that are on the side of looking for community relationships, or working with the pantries, or it could be working in our warehouse, working with fulfillment or receiving, being a truck driver. There's so many different opportunities. So when we're looking for staff, the very first thing we do is we look for the person that really understands the mission, and that they really understanding what it is that they're signing up to do, and that they're really committed to that, because that's the first and foremost. Then we look for people who really understand how to come together to make a difference in the lives of other people. They really have that passion for doing that. Most of the jobs here, except for the specialty positions, I can usually train a person. So what I'm looking for is that they have the right reason for coming to work here, and that they really want to help our community, that they really understand how to be a part of the community, and then we'll train up the rest of the roles.
What's your hope for Feeding America for the future, and the community here surrounding Milwaukee? Do you guys just do it here in Milwaukee?
So Feeding America Eastern Wisconsin is actually a food bank that covers 65% of the state. We work in about 2/3 of the state, and we're the largest hunger relief organization in the state of Wisconsin. So our footprint is very large, but we have a special affinity for Milwaukee because this is where we were founded, and this is where this home office is, our warehouse is located. And so we have a very, very special affinity to Milwaukee. We work closest in Milwaukee, but we do cover a lot of the rest of the state.
Thank you for joining us today and giving us all your intel on Feeding America.
Thank you for having me. I'm really excited to have talked to you today.
Thank you.
Finally, we met up with a senior volunteer at Feeding America to get a grounded look at how someone physically involved in the program feels they're making a difference in their community.
And joining me here today is Denise Wilgenbush, a volunteer here at Feeding America, Eastern Wisconsin. So what was your motivation to volunteer for Feeding America?
I retired as a substitute teacher and I was looking for something to fill my time, and I absolutely enjoy giving back and making sure everyone is fed, from infants to 100-year-old seniors.
How do you think a food bank, food drive like Feeding America can make a positive difference in a community?
So the positive difference is there is a lot of food deserts in the country, in particular in the Milwaukee area. So what we do is we make sure that those deserts are filled, that they get nutritious food, not just fast food. They can get, fresh vegetables, and they can get shelf-stable food that will last them for weeks, especially as we're coming into the end of the school year and making sure that students who don't normally get food at their local high schools, elementary, middle schools, they will be fed over the summer and continue to grow and thrive.
How important is volunteering for you?
I've been volunteering my whole life. I started when I was in elementary and middle and high school. I worked at a local food bank there. I continued that through my adulthood. I raised my boys to be volunteers. They're Eagle Scouts, so they know the impact of giving back. And I've been doing that my entire life, whether it's through church, whether it's a food bank, whether it's through schools. Every little bit makes a difference, and even one little hour that someone can give is huge impact on our society as a whole.
Have you developed any close relationships with the people you volunteer with?
I have. There's a core group of volunteers that we don't do a lot outside, but we kind of know the drill when we get here. We each have a kind of our areas of expertise. We feed up each other, we collaborate. We're like, oh, are you going to go do a drive-up pantry in the summertime? And we'll go do that, so that's kind of fun.
Do the volunteers work together well as a team?
Absolutely. We all have our strengths. We all come from some kind of walk of life that we were in charge, a lot of us. There's a retired nurse that's here. There's a retired insurance person. I'm a retired teacher. So we all have walks of life that make it impactful and bring some good diversity to the group.
How can you see future generations being impacted by the work you do today?
I think we lead by example. I think if we show people that volunteering is not a chore, it's fun. It's a way to give back, and I think that in itself is the positive that we can do.
All right, and that's all the time we have here today. Thank you, Denise, for letting me interview you.
Thank you
so much.
Have a
wonderful day.
You as well.
Although everybody we talked to was different, they all had the same united goal of giving back to those in need and ensuring that the community they're feeding will be positively impacted from their hard work. And through our interviews and visits to their establishments, it's easy to see all of the hard work and positivity that goes into running these food banks. And we hope that they can continue harvesting hope for generations to come.